Welcome back to the Beast Speak blog. This is a series where I tell you what the Beast has been saying to me and how I overcame it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Beast is your addictive voice, the AV and AVRT of rational recovery. If you can recognize that beast, then you can separate yourself from your urges, and that can result in immediate and lifelong abstinence. If you want to learn more about rational recovery or how to do AVRT, I'll link Virginia's story in the description box below. You can check that out. It's a good place to get started. Sorry, it's been longer than usual, guys. I had laryngitis. I could barely speak, so I'm back. So I've been thinking about how in the olden days when I was a kid, kids used to always say, "Cross your heart and hope to die," to like ensure that your promises is going to be kept. So they would like make an X on their heart. It wasn't like the sign of the cross type of X. It was like actually crossing like an X to strike out, like calling bad down on yourself if you don't keep your promise. Like your heart will be extinguished if you don't follow through. The Bible says let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. I hate that expression, Xing out your heart. I think symbolically it has bad connotations. There's like a war on your heart. One of the criticisms of the Skull and Bones organization is that symbolically they have, the skull and crossbones like a pirate flag. They use that symbol for their club. So they have the skull, which means like brains, your thoughts, and the crossbones, which means determinations, like your arms getting stuff done, like your arms crossed determination. But there's no heart. And when your heart is not involved in your decisions, that's when you get pathological behavior. So that's one of the things that people point to when they're trying to discredit that organization. There's an active movement to shun and obfuscate bad feelings. That comes from the New Age movement. They think that you should only feel good all the time. You should try to ignore bad and don't harsh my vibes by bringing up bad stuff kind of thing. But like Mark Pasio says, ignoring bad only gets you more ignorance. It doesn't get you less bad, it gets you more ignorance. So, last time I talked about the three sources of power that you have, like from your heart, your head, and your guts. Like in the Wizard of Oz, the allegory of the Wizard of Oz. Your head is your intellect, your heart is your feelings, and your guts is your courage to act morally. That allegory from the Wizard of Oz, that's not just something that I made up. That's Frank L. Baum, the author of the Wizard of Oz, was a theosophist, and I don't know a ton about that those ideas, but I know that they're steeped in the mystery schools and in esoteric thought, so that's where he comes up with those ideas. So it is most likely true that those things really are alluding to the three sources of power that we have. In the Wizard of Oz, he alludes to the foundation which makes these things grow, and that's home, which Dorothy strives to find. It's what Gordon Neufeld calls home base, or a place of attachment where it's safe to cry. So let's say you had it bad as a kid, and worst case scenario, you weren't loved the way you should have been. Maybe your parents were preoccupied with their own concerns, or maybe they were addicted themselves. That could be called neglect. Or even worse, let's say they were actively abusing you. You had your innocence stolen from you before you even had a chance to experience it. That deserves to be mourned. Those feelings must be recognized and felt, because the weight of those unfelt emotions amplifies the voice of the beast. There's this idea called in psychiatry called reparenting, and where you're supposed to, think to yourself, what would a loving parent say to myself? And then you're supposed to say that to yourself instead of that critical voice you might have in your head. I used to do that when I was a kid. I'd walk home from school and I'd think, I'd imagine the best self me, an adult self me that was everything I hoped to be and everything that I felt like intuitively like I could be, but I knew that I was in a bad place. So I would ask her for like guidance, and she would give me encouraging words, but of course it was really me. But that was like a way of reparenting. I used to think that I couldn't feel my feelings at all. I used to say, like, I can't name these feelings. Like, I don't even know if these are feelings. Like, they're too complicated to put a name on. But somebody once said to me, like, look for the bodily sensations. Those are your feelings. Like, does your stomach drop, or does your throat clench up? Those are, does your heart swell? You know, your chest feel like it's getting bigger. Those are bodily sensations. Those are your feelings. So I started doing somatic meditations, like body meditations, guided meditations, to kind of like get in touch with those feelings. And because you know that when your feelings are blocked up, other things can't move around either. You're kind of, it stifles everything when you don't have your feelings. We know that the more you open up that breadth of your feelings, it also increases your capacity to love. And a vital part of, if we are to find connection now, we have to have the healing and vital growth that connection can give us. So fixing these things will weaken the sway the beast has over us. And because the weight of these hidden things only amplifies the beast's voice. So the heart is a bridge to transformation. All right. Keep saying no to that beast. I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you for joining me.